Hey, I'm Emma. Welcome to Emma's Betrayal Stories now. Before we start, go grab a snack and get comfortable for a bit. These stories aren't rushed. They're the kind you sit with. Today's story comes with an update and my own personal opinions throughout the story. Let me know in the comments if you agree or see it differently. Let's begin.
My ex-fiancée tried to come back after my success, but I made sure she knew she blew it. She was standing 3 feet from the stage curtain, close enough that I could see the tiny crease of powder at the edge of her jaw, like she'd been rushing and tried to fix herself in a car mirror. The ballroom lights hit the sequins on her dress and threw little pinpricks of light onto the black fabric behind her, and for one stupid second my body reacted like it used to. Heart stuttering, palms damp, that old instinct to step toward her and ask if she'd eaten. Then she said my name, softly, like she had the right to still shape it in her mouth. Nora. I had my mic in one hand and a speech card in the other, and I could feel the card bending because my grip was too tight. The host's voice was still booming out on stage, reading the next category, and my co-founder was behind me whispering, "You good?" But all I could hear was Camille's breath and the faint clink of glassware and the blood rushing in my ears. Camille's eyes flicked down to the ring on my finger, my new one, not the one she gave me, and her mouth tightened in this quick, involuntary way. "You look wow," she said, forcing a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. She shifted her weight like she was about to step in front of me, block my path to the stage, and I smelled her perfume. Same brand as before, something clean and sharp that always used to cling to my hoodies. It was a Thursday night in late spring, the kind where the air outside is still a little cold, but everyone insists on dresses anyway, and the city looks prettier than it deserves because someone's watered the street planters and the pavement reflects the lights. I was there because my company had been nominated for a local business award, and they'd asked me specifically, to present the Emerging Founder category. I'd practiced my lines in the car on the way over. I'd done the thing I always do before a big moment. 2 deep breaths, shoulders back, chin level. Pretend you're not a girl who grew up being told her ideas were cute. I didn't expect to see my ex-fiancée in the backstage corridor of a hotel ballroom, waiting like a ghost that had learned how to do her eyebrows better. Camille and I were together for 5 years. We got engaged on a cramped weekend away where the Airbnb had chipped mugs and a balcony that overlooked a car park, but it still felt romantic because we were in that stage of love where you can turn anything into a memory. Camille proposed on the balcony at night, in socks, with the ring hidden in a cereal box because she thought it was funny. I laughed and cried at the same time and told her yes, so fast, I didn't even let her finish whatever speech she'd rehearsed. She slipped the ring on my finger with shaking hands and then kissed me like she was trying to seal something shut. I remember the way her lip gloss tasted like peppermint. I remember thinking, finally, someone chose me out loud. We were supposed to get married the next year. We had a venue deposit down, a photographer booked, a guest list half finished. My mom cried happy tears when I told her. Camille's parents pretended they weren't slightly uncomfortable about their daughter marrying a woman, but they showed up to dinner and asked polite questions, which felt like progress. We moved into a nicer apartment because Camille said if we were going to start a life, we should start it properly, which at the time sounded responsible and loving. And then my work got weird. Because I'd been building something on the side for a while, a small software tool for local cafes that helped them track regulars and manage orders without paying insane subscription fees. It started as a spreadsheet, then a friend helped me code it, then 3 cafes started using it, then 12. I wasn't quitting my job or anything. I was just building. Slowly. Quietly. The way I do. Camille acted supportive at first. She'd make jokes about me being a tech mogul when I was in pajamas on the couch. She'd tell her friends I was so smart. But whenever I got too excited, whenever I talked like it might actually become a real business, she'd get this look like she was watching a child insist the moon was made of cheese. "Just don't sink all our money into it," she'd say, laughing like it was lighthearted, even though she knew I was putting my own savings into it and keeping our shared account untouched. "Just don't embarrass yourself," she said once, after I pitched to a small investor meetup and came home buzzing. She said it while brushing her teeth, foam around her mouth, like it was a practical warning. I stood in the bathroom doorway holding my laptop, and I remember how the tiles felt cold under my bare feet. 2 months before the wedding, she sat me down at our kitchen table and told me she couldn't do it. No big fight.
No screaming.
Just Camille in a soft cardigan, hands folded neatly, looking like someone about to deliver bad news at work. I love you, she said first, as if she were checking a box. Then, but you're always chasing something. And I want a stable life. I stared at her because the word stable sounded insane coming out of her mouth, considering I was the one who'd paid bills on time, who'd done the grocery runs, who'd remembered her dentist appointments. She kept talking, voice calm, like she'd practiced. I can't marry someone who might wake up and decide to gamble everything on an idea. She said gamble, like my little software tool was a casino. I asked her, quietly, if there was someone else. She didn't answer right away, which was the loudest thing she could have done. There was someone else. Not a dramatic affair with hotel rooms and secret phones. It was her coworker, Jenna, the woman Camille always told me was so annoying. It was dinners that ran late. It was team drinks. It was Camille coming home smelling like a different shampoo and telling me I was imagining things. When Camille finally admitted it, she did it the same way she did everything. Controlled. It just happened, she said. We didn't plan it. Like that was supposed to make it less brutal. She moved out fast. She asked for the ring back. I gave it to her without a fight because I couldn't stand the idea of it sitting in my drawer like a dead thing. She kept some of our furniture. She kept the coffee machine I loved because she said she'd paid for it, which was technically true, but I'd been the one making her morning coffees for 3 years. My friends helped me cancel vendors. My mom offered to punch someone, which was the first time I'd ever heard her sound genuinely feral. I went to work and smiled at people who didn't know my life had just been cracked open. I came home to an apartment full of gaps where Camille used to be. At night, when the city got quiet, I'd hear the fridge click on and off and feel like the whole world was holding its breath. And then, because the universe is rude like that, my little gamble took off. Not overnight. Not like those stories where someone is suddenly rich and glowing. It was messy. I got rejected by investors. I cried in a petrol station bathroom once after a meeting went badly. I ate noodles for a month because I was pouring everything into server costs and paying a developer. I started drinking too much coffee and forgetting to sleep, but the cafes kept signing on. One cafe owner introduced me to another. A local business association wrote a little article about a homegrown tool helping small businesses, and suddenly my inbox started filling up with inquiries. I quit my job. I registered the business. I hired my first employee, my friend Ria, who'd been telling me for years to stop hiding. A year later, we landed a partnership with a regional distributor that put our tool in front of hundreds of venues. I went from being the girl with a spreadsheet to being the CEO of something that made money and helped people. It still didn't feel glamorous. It felt like waking up every day with my shoulders already tense and doing it anyway. And now I was in a hotel ballroom in a tailored black jumpsuit, about to hand an award to someone else, with Camille standing backstage like she'd been waiting for the exact second my life looked shiny enough to reflect her back. Back in the corridor, Camille lifted her hands a little, palms open. I'm not here to cause a scene, she said quickly, and I almost laughed because saying that is basically planting the idea of a scene. When I saw your name on the program, I thought, it's been a while. It has, I said. My voice sounded steadier than I felt. My co-founder, Malik, hovered behind me like a polite bouncer. Camille swallowed. I've been following your work, she said. It's impressive. Really? Something hot moved through my chest. Not pride. Not joy. Something closer to anger that had been fermenting for a long time. You mean the thing you said would embarrass me? I asked. Her cheeks flushed. I didn't mean it like that, she said immediately. I was scared. Back then I was. Back then you were with Jenna, I said, because I wasn't going to let her wrap this in soft paper. Her eyes flicked away. We're not together anymore, she said. Then, like she was offering me a prize, we haven't been for months. Malik made a small noise behind me, like he'd inhaled sharply. I could tell he wanted to pull me away. The host's voice on stage was wrapping up the intro. I had maybe 60 seconds before I had to walk out and smile. Camille took a step closer. "I've thought about you," she said. "A lot." The words landed, and my body did that annoying thing where it remembered. The way she used to tuck hair behind my ear. The way she'd sing badly while cooking. The way she'd call me and when she was being sweet. My stomach clenched like it wanted to fold in on itself. I didn't move. "Why are you here?" I asked. Camille's gaze dropped again, to my hands, to my new ring. "I just wanted to talk," she said. "Maybe get coffee. Catch up. I feel like we ended badly." "We ended because you cheated and left," I said, and my voice went quiet. "That's not badly. That's just what you did." Her eyes shone, but I didn't trust tears on Camille anymore. Tears had always been one of her tools, when anger didn't work, when charm didn't work, when logic didn't work. "I know I hurt you," she whispered. "I know. I've been doing therapy. I'm trying to be better." The host called my name.
Loud. Public.
The curtain stirred as someone brushed past it. The ballroom noise surged like a wave. Malik touched my elbow gently. "Nora," he murmured. "We're up." I looked at Camille and felt something settle. Not closure. Something more practical. A decision. "I'm going on stage," I said. "This is not the place." Camille's mouth tightened. "So that's it?" she said, and there was a flash of the old Camille, entitled, offended that she couldn't steer the moment. "You won't even talk to me?"
Ich sagte her.
"You didn't even talk to me before you blew up our life," I said. "Don't act like I owe you a conversation now that I'm what? Successful enough to be interesting?" Her face went pale. For a second, she looked like she might lash out. Then she softened again. Too fast. "I'm proud of you," she said. I nodded once, small and sharp. "Good," I said. "Be proud from over there." Then I walked out onto the stage with my spine straight and my hands shaking inside my sleeves. I smiled at the crowd and read my lines and pretended my past wasn't standing 10 feet behind the curtain. After the event, my phone lit up with messages. Congratulations from clients. A photo someone took of me on stage. Malik texting, "You okay?" Rhea sending a string of "I will fight her" messages. And then Camille. A message request on Instagram first, because I'd blocked her number a year ago and apparently she'd forgotten. The message was long, carefully spaced like she wanted it to look calm. "I didn't come tonight to upset you. I just seeing you up there made me realize how much I miss you. I know I don't deserve it, but I would love the chance to talk. I'm in a different place now.
I think you'd be surprised.
Please don't shut me out." I stared at the screen until the letters started to blur. My thumb hovered over delete. My hand actually trembled, not because I wanted her back, but because I could feel the old habit in me. Explain yourself, soothe her, make the tension go away. Instead, I took a screenshot and sent it to Rhea with one line. "She's back." Rhea called immediately. "Tell me where she is," she said, voice already sharp. "I don't know," I said. "And I don't care. I'm just annoyed." "You should be," Rhea said. "She's not coming back for love. She's coming back for access." That word, access, hit hard. Because my company was now featured in local press. We had money. We had growth. We had a team. We had a future. And Camille had always liked standing near the future when it looked good. 2 days later, my assistant forwarded an email request for a meeting. Subject line, "C, heart, coffee? Camille." Using her full name, like she was a professional contact, like we weren't two women with a canceled wedding and a ring that changed hands like a weapon. The email said she'd love to reconnect and had some ideas that might benefit the company, and could I spare 20 minutes? I laughed out loud in my office, a short, ugly sound. Malik looked up from his laptop. "Her?" he asked. I nodded, then stared at the email again. The audacity was almost impressive. I didn't reply. I archived it. I told my assistant, calmly, that Camille was not to be booked into my calendar. That should have been the end. It wasn't. A week later, a new cafe client called, confused, saying they'd received a message from someone named Camille, claiming she used to be involved with a company and could help them get a better rate if they signed through her. My skin went cold. I pulled up the email the client forwarded. Camille had used a Gmail address with our company name in it, like companyname.partnerships, not our official domain, but close enough that someone rushing might not notice. She wrote like she had authority. Like she was inside. I could feel my pulse thudding in my throat. Ria came into my office, took one look at my face, and shut the door behind her. She's impersonating us, I said. Ria's eyes narrowed. That's not Miss You, she said flatly. That's theft with extra steps. I called our lawyer. I hadn't needed one much yet, mostly contract reviews, the occasional boring compliance question, but now I needed one like I needed oxygen. The lawyer's voice stayed calm while I talked too fast. She asked for screenshots. She asked if Camille had access to any old passwords. She asked if Camille had signed any documents when we were together that might make her think she had rights. My stomach turned remembering how Camille used to watch me type, how she'd known the name of my first pet, my favorite color, every stupid security question answer, because that's what love is until it isn't. My lawyer advised a cease and desist letter, immediate security changes, and documentation. And if she contacts clients again, she said, we escalate. That night, I went home and changed every password I could think of. I turned on two-factor authentication for everything. I sat on my couch with my laptop open and my shoulders hunched and realized my hands were shaking. My new partner, Elise, came out of the kitchen holding 2 mugs of tea, saw me, and quietly set one down beside me. What happened? She asked. I hadn't told Elise much about Camille.
Just the outline.
The betrayal. The fact I didn't want her in my life. But I told her now. I told her about the award night, the email, the client message. Elise listened, jaw tight, then said, do you want me to handle her if she shows up here? The thought of Camille showing up at my apartment made my stomach flip. I don't know, I said honestly. I just want her gone. 2 days later, the cease and desist went out. It was polite, cold, precise, like a door closing without a slam. Camille responded within an hour. Not to the lawyer.
To me.
She found my work email. Subject. Really? The body, you're doing this? After everything we had? I wasn't trying to hurt you. I was trying to help. You always assume the worst of me now. I wanted to be part of your life again. I thought you'd be happy to see me. I guess success really did change you. I read it twice and felt my face go hot. Because there it was again. Camille trying to make her behavior my flaw. I forwarded it to my lawyer without replying. Then Camille went nuclear. She posted on LinkedIn. A long post about watching someone you love succeed and being proud from afar, and some relationships end but still shape you. And then, halfway down, she wrote that she'd contributed early strategy to my company and was excited to see it thriving. Contributed early strategy. Like she'd been a co-founder. Like she'd built anything besides doubts. People started commenting. Congrats, Camille. That must be so fulfilling. Proud of you both. A vendor we used messaged me. Didn't know Camille was part of it. Small world. I stared at my screen. Jaw clenched so hard my teeth hurt. Malik stormed into my office, phone in hand. Tell me we're not letting her rewrite history, he said. I leaned back in my chair and felt something click into place again, the way it did backstage. That same practical decision. I'm not letting her attach herself to my work, I said. And that's where I'm going to pause the story again, midway, because what I did next was the major way. I turned the tables, and it wasn't dramatic in the movie sense. It was worse for her. It was factual. Camille is the kind of ex who doesn't miss you. She misses the version of herself that looked good standing next to you. The "I'm proud of you" line at the awards night wasn't closure. It was a hook, an attempt to get you to soften so she could slide back into your life like she never detonated it. And the moment she realized you weren't handing her emotional access, she pivoted to professional access, which is honestly more revealing than any cheating confession. Impersonating the company to help clients get a better rate isn't helpful, it's opportunistic. It's her trying to create a paper trail where she looks involved, like she's laying down little footprints so later she can claim she was always there. The LinkedIn post is peak. I want credit without effort. Also, her last line, "Success changed you," is such a classic move it should come with a warning label. She's basically saying, how dare you grow boundaries that keep me out? The fact that she's trying to rewrite history in public is what makes her especially dangerous. It pressures you to respond emotionally, to fight her on her terms. But you don't need to out-yell her. You just need to out-document her. The good thing is you've got a lawyer, a team, and a partner who sees through it. Camille built her whole escape plan on the assumption you'd stay the same person she left. Quiet, forgiving, eager to smooth things over. The problem for her is you're not that person anymore. If she wants to play with credit, ownership, and strategy, she's about to find out those words have legal weight, not just ego weight. Update.
Okay. So,
A lot happened after that LinkedIn post. First, I didn't respond publicly right away. I wanted to. My hands itched for it. I drafted about 12 different replies, ranging from professional to petty, and deleted all of them because I could feel myself slipping into the exact reaction Camille wanted. Emotional, reactive, loud enough to make me look unstable, while she played the calm, wounded hero. Instead, I met with my lawyer in person. I brought screenshots of everything. The client email impersonation, her really email, the LinkedIn post, the message request, the meeting request, all time-stamped. I also brought something I hadn't thought would matter until my lawyer asked, old texts between me and Camille from the engagement era. Not romantic ones. The ones where she told me my business idea was embarrassing. The ones where she told me to keep it small. The ones where she said she didn't want to be married to a risk. Because the truth is, Camille didn't contribute strategy. Camille contributed gravity. My lawyer's advice was simple. We send a formal notice to Camille requiring her to remove the LinkedIn post that implied involvement. We warn her of defamation and misrepresentation, and we prepare to escalate to a restraining order if she keeps contacting clients. Malik and Riyah were furious in the way only people who have built something with you can be. Malik kept saying, she doesn't get to slap her name on our work. Riyah was more surgical. She said, we lock down the narrative the same way we lock down the servers.
calmly.
Completely. So we did the boring, powerful things. We sent an email to our clients and partners, not mentioning Camille by name, just stating that someone unaffiliated had attempted to contact clients using a similar email address, and that all official communication would come from our domain only. We reminded them we would never offer special rates through third parties. We told them to forward anything suspicious. We made it about security, not drama. Then I did something that felt like swallowing a rock. I reached out to the organizer of the award night. I told them, privately, that Camille had been removed from my life due to harassment and that if she appeared at future events, I'd need support. The organizer responded in 5 minutes with, understood. We've added her name to our list. She won't be allowed backstage again. That message made my shoulders drop like I'd been carrying a weight I didn't know how to set down. Camille did not take the legal notice well. She sent me a 3-page email from a new address. It was half apology, half accusation. She wrote about how lonely she'd been, how she'd made mistakes, how she never got closure, how she'd always believed in me deep down, which was a lie so bold it almost deserved applause. She claimed she'd introduced me to cafe culture. We met because she spilled coffee on my shoes in a cafe, and therefore she'd influenced the direction of my company. She implied she might speak to the media if I kept trying to silence her. My lawyer's response was shorter than my grocery list. It basically said, remove the post, stop contacting clients, communicate only through legal counsel. Camille removed the post for 12 hours. Then she reposted a new version, subtler, but still implying involvement. That's when my lawyer escalated. Another letter. Stronger language. Clear consequences. And this time, we attached evidence of the impersonation email to show we weren't bluffing. Meanwhile, Camille started contacting people around me. This was the part that made my stomach twist the most because it felt invasive in a different way. She messaged a junior employee on Instagram asking if I was okay. She messaged Malik pretending to want to clear the air. She even found Elise's profile, how, I don't know, and sent her a long message about how she'll always care about Nora and I hope you know she can be difficult when she's stressed. Elise showed me the message without saying anything at first. She just held her phone out, eyebrows raised. I read it, felt my face heat, then started laughing, not because it was funny, but because it was so textbook. Camille was trying to poison the people around me. Plant seeds. Make me look unstable. Make herself look like the patient one. Elise said very calmly. Do you want me to reply? I shook my head. No, I said. Silence is better. She wants engagement. That night, Elise and I sat at my kitchen table, and I finally told her the ugly parts I'd been holding back. How Camille used to call me dramatic whenever I cried. How she'd ask me why I couldn't just be normal. How she'd act like my ambition was a personality flaw. Elise listened, then reached across the table and took my hand. She didn't say, I can't believe she did that. She said, I believe you. And for some reason that nearly made me cry harder than the breakup had, because I realized how long I'd been bracing for people to doubt me. Then came the turning point. A journalist I'd spoken to months earlier, someone who'd covered small business growth stories, emailed asking if I wanted to comment on your former partner's involvement, because Camille had apparently pitched herself as part of the origin story and was offering to do an interview about building with love and loss. I read that line 3 times. Building with love and loss. Like she'd been hauling boxes and writing code and losing sleep. Like she hadn't been the one walking out because she wanted stable. That's when I decided, no more letting Camille write the story. But I still didn't want a public mud fight. I didn't want a viral breakup saga. I wanted the cleanest cut possible. So I replied to the journalist with one sentence. Camille Hart has never been involved in the company in any professional capacity. Any claims otherwise are inaccurate. Then I attached a brief statement my lawyer approved. Nothing emotional. No, she cheated. No, she hurt me.
Just a fact.
The journalist replied. Understood. Thank you for clarifying. Camille must have heard because she showed up at my office the next day. Not a reception like a normal person. She waited outside the building entrance, leaning against the wall like she was in a sad movie. When I got out of my car, she pushed off the wall and walked toward me like she owned the space between us. Nora, she said, breathless. Her eyes looked bright, not quite tearful, but close.
Please.
Just 5 minutes. My whole body went alert. I could feel my pulse in my throat again, that old reflex. But this time I didn't freeze. I didn't bargain. I didn't soften. I looked at her and said, You need to leave. Her face crumpled. So, you're really going to erase me? She said, voice rising. After everything? I didn't step closer. I didn't step back. I just held my ground. You erased yourself when you left, I said. And you don't get to glue yourself onto my work now. She flinched like I'd slapped her. I'm not trying to steal anything, she hissed. I'm trying to. Camille, I said, and my voice stayed calm, which seemed to make her angrier. If you contact my clients again, if you message my employees again, if you show up here again, we will file for a restraining order. Do you understand? Her eyes widened. You wouldn't, she said, like she was testing the old me. I nodded once. I would, I said. Because I'm not letting you turn my life into your redemption arc. She stared at me for a long moment. Then she whispered, I made you, like it was a curse. And that sentence, ugly, revealing, did something in me. It wiped out the last little ghost of tenderness I'd been carrying. I looked at her and said, No, you tried to shrink me. I grew anyway. Then I walked past her into my building, and for the first time since she came back, I didn't feel shaky. I felt clear. Now back to finishing the story. After that office confrontation, Camille went quiet for about 2 weeks.
No emails.
No messages. No new posts. I started sleeping properly again. Malik stopped checking the front door camera every time someone walked past the building. Rhea stopped muttering "I hate her" under her breath during meetings. And then the final attempt arrived, because Camille couldn't leave without trying one more time to make me feel like the villain. A package came to my office with no return address. Inside was the old engagement ring box. Empty. And a note, in Camille's handwriting, looping and neat. "I hope you're happy. I hope you can live with yourself." I stared at the note for a long time. The ring box looked smaller than I remembered, like it had shrunk now that it didn't contain a promise, just a memory. Elise came by the office later with lunch and found me sitting at my desk with the box open in front of me. She didn't ask questions. She just sat down, looked at the note, and said, "Do you want to keep that?" I closed the box. "No," I said. That night, I went home and dug through a drawer until I found my old phone, the one I'd kept because it had photos I never bothered transferring. I turned it on, waited for it to boot, and scrolled until I found the photo of me on that balcony holding the cereal box, eyes puffy from happy tears, Camille grinning in socks. I stared at it, not with longing, but with this strange pity for that version of me who thought love meant being chosen, and love would always keep choosing you. Then I deleted it. The next morning, I did the cleanest, most unromantic thing possible. I logged the ring box into our security incident file. Yes, we have one now. Photographed the note and forwarded it to my lawyer. Not because I wanted to get her in trouble. Because I wanted a record. A boundary in paperwork. My lawyer replied, "Good. Do not engage." So I didn't. 3 months later, Camille tried one last angle. She applied for a job at a partner company we worked closely with, using our company's name as a reference and implying we'd collaborated. The partner company, bless them, called me directly and asked, carefully, "Is that accurate?" I took a breath, stared at the sunlight hitting my office wall, and said, "No, she's not associated with us. She's been asked to stop misrepresenting herself." They thanked me. They did not hire her. That was it.
No explosión.
No grand speech. Just doors quietly closing because she couldn't force them open with charm anymore. And the real turning the tables part, the part that felt major, wasn't humiliating her in public. It was refusing to let her have any piece of my life to stand on. No access. No credit. No contact. No emotional stage. Last month, I stood in our new office space, bigger, brighter, still smelling faintly of paint, and watched Malik hang our first framed client testimonial on the wall. Rhea was arguing with a contractor about where the whiteboard should go. Elise was sitting on the floor eating a sandwich and laughing at something Malik said. I looked around and realized Camille could never touch this. Not because I'm petty, because she opted out when it was hard. And now that it's good, it belongs to the people who stayed. Camille is the exact kind of person who confuses proximity with contribution. She stood near your dream while it was small enough to mock. Then the second it became shiny, she tried to claim she'd polished it. That's not love, that's branding. The worst thing about Camille isn't even the cheating, although, yes, cheating on someone you're engaged to and then acting like it just happened is coward behavior. The worst thing is her insistence on rewriting reality so she can be both the victim and the hero at the same time. She doesn't say, "I hurt you and I'm sorry." She says, "I'm proud of you," and expects you to melt because it lets her step back into your life without accountability. And when you don't melt, she pivots to punishment. Impersonating your company, contacting your clients, messaging your employees, sliding into your partner's DMs to plant little "she's difficult" seeds like she's doing corporate sabotage with a therapy vocabulary. That's not messy heartbreak. That's calculated entitlement. Malik and Rhea are the real MVPs because they reacted the way healthy people react. Protective, practical, not seduced by nostalgia. They didn't let you gaslight yourself into, "Maybe I'm being harsh." Elise deserves a medal for not taking Camille's bait, because a lot of people would have replied, and Camille would have used it as proof she still had a doorway into your world. And you did the hardest thing. You didn't win by humiliating her at the award night or posting receipts on the internet. You won by staying boringly consistent. Document, secure, escalate through proper channels, refuse engagement. That's the kind of boundary that drives people like Camille insane, because there's nothing to fight. There's no dramatic scene where she gets to cry and tell herself she tried. It's just a locked door and the quiet realization that she doesn't get to benefit from the version of you she didn't respect. If Camille blew it, it wasn't because you got successful and she got jealous. She blew it because she treated you like a risk when you were building and then treated you like a resource when you succeeded. And that is exactly the kind of person who deserves to watch your life from very, very far away.